The Big 12 has its man. A new commissioner has been hired, and I absolutely love it. The CEO of Rock Nation, Brett Yormark, is your new Big 12 commissioner. Welcome into the YouTube channel. I am John Kurtz. Here on this channel, we talk about college football and conference realignment all week, particularly from a Big 12 angle. This is a Big 12 friendly channel. And man, I am excited to talk about this today. I'm going to be honest, a lot of times I have more notes prepared than I do today. This is kind of an off the cuff. This just happened officially moments ago. I'm giving you basically an instant reaction here before I go live tonight at 7 o'clock to talk more about it with all of you guys. But I'm thrilled, man. I'm thrilled. You know, if you've been listening to this channel for a while, I have preached over and over. I want the Big 12 to be thinking outside the box with this hire. I did not like the idea of just going with, and to me, I apologize to call it stuffy, but it felt kind of stuffy to just go with it. Old stuffy college athletics lifer, someone that's been an AD for a long time. I didn't like that. And I have to be honest, even hearing some in the Big 12 say that early on in the process, that was something they'd be looking for, was college athletics experience. I didn't really like that. And it's because the game has changed, man. Look around you. Look at everything that's happening in college athletics right now and tell me what is the same about this that a college athletics lifer has experienced. It's devalued the experience of somebody that's been in college athletics for a long time, because with the advent of NIL, with the advent of the Big Ten and the SEC pulling away from everybody and looking like it's going to be a Big Two and everybody else, like all of these changes, transfer portal that are happening right now, it's created a totally different game than it was even 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, I think from my standpoint as a K-State fan and a guy that was covering the team, like where things were at in 2018, Bill Snyder's last year, when he was running that program, and like, I can't even imagine what it would be like to try and have him running a program in today's day and age, because the game has changed so much. And there's so much on the line with the high stakes of the SEC and the Big Ten and what that could do to college football and playoff expansion and all these things. You need somebody with new ideas. You need somebody dynamic that brings something to the table that somebody who's just been an AD their whole life, frankly, does not. And I understand there can be some criticisms of George Kliavkov, the Pac-12 who was hired, like this outside of the box guy from MGM Grand in Vegas. Kevin Warren, who was an attorney before he was hired by the Big Ten. You can have plenty of criticisms of those guys, and maybe it wasn't the greatest in the world. I think the jury is still very much out on those guys. But for the Big 12 particularly, in this instance, I love it. How often has the Big 12 been maligned as this league that is regressive, not forward-thinking, not bold, not doing anything proactively? This is all of those things. This is a very aggressive, progressive hire. And I cannot say enough about how much I love the fact that this is what the hire is. So let me get into some of the official release here from the Big 12 that they just put out. If you're wanting more info on the background of Brett Yormark, he's coming from Rock Nation, where he has served as Chief Operating Officer and Co-CEO of Rock Nation Unified, the commercial side of the business. Yormark, a graduate of Indiana University, began his sports career in 1988 when he worked for the New Jersey Nets. Ultimately reached the pinnacle of the industry when he was named the CEO. So from 2005 to 2019, he was the CEO of the Brooklyn Nets and Barclays Center. He oversaw their move from New Jersey to Brooklyn. Barclays Center became a college basketball destination, et cetera, et cetera. Prior to joining the Nets, Yormark worked as Vice President of Corporate Sponsorships for NASCAR. That's another piece of the resume, where he oversaw a $750 million partnership agreement, largest sale in history at that time, that gave Nextel Communications the naming rights to its premier races. Man, shout out to the Nextel Cup Series. Yormark is recognized for his creative business approaches and has been named to Crain's 40 Under 40 list twice and the 40 Under 40 list 3 times by the Sports Business Journal. Under Yormark's leadership, the Barclays Center became one of the top 10 entertainment venues worldwide for ticket sales. Then there's some information about the Big 12 search, Big 12 Board of Directors. Yormark's official start date with the Big 12 is anticipated to be August 1st. His initial contract term is 5 years. As announced in April, Bob Bowlesby will transition to an interim role with the conference, subject to the mutual agreement of the new commissioner and Bowlesby. So there you have it. That is as far as the nuts and bolts details of the information you need to know goes. I mean, things I like about that, it's not like this guy is totally being hired out of the sports realm. He's been in sports combined with entertainment. I mean, Rock Nation, Jay-Z's record label, like he's worked. I heard an interview with him where he was talking about working with different hip-hop artists through the pandemic and trying to figure out how to make things work with that, which is just a very little that I have heard from him, right? But he has an entertainment background as well as a sports background. And right now, I think that's imperative for the Big 12 to make this as entertaining a product as they possibly can. And another thing that I love about this and what I see in the release from this is who we get quotes from. So there is a quote from Brett Yormark himself. There is a quote from Lawrence Chovanec, who was the Texas Tech president and the Big 12 Conference board chair. But also we have a quote from Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, which is a big name. That's a heavy hitter to put his name on a release for the Big 12. And you have a quote, most importantly perhaps, from Fox Sports CEO and executive producer Eric Shanks. Now, why would that be important? Because one of the biggest things here is going to be negotiating that TV contract. And how much money can you milk out of that TV contract? If you have the head of Fox Sports, the CEO and executive producer of Fox Sports, willing to put his name to a quote about this guy that you just hired, I think that's pretty good news. Okay? And one of the things we talked about with the TV deal and people had worry about is like Bob Bowlesby, when he went scorched earth on ESPN, did that ruin relationships with TV? Did that make it more difficult? Well, you don't have to worry about that now. You don't have to worry about that now because, one, it's a new guy in Brett Yormark, but also it's a guy that seemingly has great relationships in the TV industry. Let me read you the quote here from Fox Sports CEO and executive producer Eric Shanks. On behalf of Fox Sports, we'd like to officially congratulate Brett Yormark on being named the new commissioner of the Big 12. Brett is a talented and innovative executive who brings a remarkably unique perspective to the position. Under his leadership and vision, the conference is set up for success, and we look forward to continuing to build on our relationship as a premier partner of the Big 12. Love that, right? You love that quote. Now, that's just a quote, and how much money will actually talk when it comes down to it, but that seems to be a very good indication that you'll have a better shot at getting some decent money out of Fox. Adam Silver's quote, by the way, was, Brett is one of the most skilled and knowledgeable executives in sports and entertainment. His decades of operational experience, relentless work ethic, and strong industry relationships will be of enormous value to the Big 12, its schools, and fans. Man, I'm excited. If you can't tell, I'm excited. I'm thrilled about all of this. I'm thrilled about where this potentially can be going for the conference. I think even beyond just the nuts and bolts of this and what it means with the commissioner and what he's going to do, I just think if we talk about frame of mind, like the frame of mind that the league seems to be in with this, where their head is at, I would tell you that it's in the right place, which is trying to think innovatively and not get stuck in an old way of thinking and how you would do it in the old world of college athletics, because we are in a brave, brave new world when it comes to college athletics. And the Big 12 just made a progressive hire and a very aggressive hire, and one that is, frankly, cool. Having the CEO of Rock Nation, for somebody like me, who is a big hip-hop fan, to come over and be the guy, like that's, and I love it, man. I absolutely love it. And I keep saying he's chief operating officer and co-CEO of Rock Nation Unified. Okay, so chief operating officer of Rock Nation, somebody very high up at Rock Nation. My apologies for the mistake there. I think I said that wrong off the top, but you get the point. A respected executive who's worked in entertainment and in sports. Nothing but good things to me about this for the Big 12. Let's talk about it more tonight. I want to hear your thoughts. First of all, let me know in the comments what you think. Is this a good hire for the Big 12? Let me know. Good hire, bad hire. If you disagree with me, that is fine. Start the conversation in the comments, and I'll use that to kind of gauge where we're going to go tonight at 7 o'clock when I pop in for the live show. So extra content today, live show tonight, man. Let's run it up. Let's have fun. Let's celebrate all of this, and I will talk to you guys soon.